your gut itself, right? So another thing, relational health. So inside the gut protein, we actually have three products. One is the protein, the other one is the probiotic, and another one is the fiber itself. So these three products actually have the current 2024. So later on, I will not go into the details, but later on you can have a look in terms of our future life history. We talked about how aging of the Malaysia population is.
Globally, this is happening right now. So, when we're talking about individuals or people, we live longer, we have access to more medicine, and of course medical care, treatment and technology, more than ever before. It's more exciting than this. And we have access to amazing food as well, quality food, quality lifestyle. But why should the people care about health and well-being? So this first question, I'm going to pass it on to Mike here.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, especially esteemed members of the media. So thank you for coming here. You know, that's a great question. Because, as you said, if you look at the numbers, you might say, for human history, this is the longest that people have lived. Right? You think back earlier, the average lifespan was maybe 50 or 60. Nowadays, it's over 70 plus. And it's not uncommon for us to have people who live to be 100, right? But actually, the truth is also, while people are living longer, it's through treatment, and actually they're living more lives or more years of their lives unhealthy. We've never had a period in human history where we've lived longer, but actually the last 10 to 15 years, we're actually unhealthy. So the last 10 to 15 years we spent in hospital beds, or in and out of clinics, or always in some sort of illness, right? So live longer, but not healthier. You know, your second part of that question, which is a great question, by the way, I love that question, is yes, we have more food. We have access to more food than ever before, right? I'm sure once a week, twice a week, or maybe 5 times a week, you use this app or that app to order food directly to your house. Or anytime, right? You have a craving for something, you just go online and order. We've never had access to food like we do right now. In the past, we used to be concerned about people being starving, right? My generation, your generation, or maybe parents' generation, worried about not having food. But today, if you look at the number, there are about 300 million people globally who don't have access to enough food. That's pretty bad. But there are 3 billion people who actually have too much food. They're actually what we call overweight. There are 1 billion people who are obese, meaning that they're dangerously overweight. And so the access to food is access to bad food, processed food, food high in sugars, right? If you look at it, the majority of the people, around 60 to 80 to, in some countries, 90% of people do not get the minimum required or recommended 5 servings of fruit and vegetables per the World Health Organization. So we actually have access to food, but we don't eat the right food. Our diet choices are geared because of, sorry to say, companies are gearing it towards our stimulation of certain chemical reactions. And we're geared towards kind of eating this processed food. And the last one you talked about is access to treatment and to technology and to healthcare. I think reality is we focus a lot around treatment when we actually we find out, we go to the doctor, maybe we avoid the doctor for decades, and then we go to the doctor because we finally have an issue. We finally have a pain, we fall down, or we have something tells us finally we need to go see a doctor, and we get a scan. And then we find out we have an issue. Then we have treatment, medicine, and maybe it's chemo, or maybe it's other treatment. But there's so little work done in prevention. That's why I mentioned before, we spent 10 years focusing on treatment and ignored the 60 years focusing on prevention. And we have so much access to technology that the latest statistic says that on average, most people will sleep now around 4.5 to 5 hours to 7 hours, 5 to 7 hours a night. The average person spends now 8 to 10 hours online. We spend more time surfing the internet, surfing our favorite app to watch a streaming video or binge watch something than we do actually sleeping, yet alone doing any sort of movement. So all this leads to, at the end of the day, that's why we say, if you look at this statistic, that's why 75% of adults around the world die from what I call lifestyle choices. It's not because of a disease or some sort of genetics. It's because of a lifestyle choice from poor eating, lack of movement, poor diet choices, and limited awareness. 75% of adults will die because of cholesterol issues, heart disease related issues, blood sugar related issues. And they're all, for the most part, preventable. You have cases where people have genetic issues, okay, yes, but the majority is because of what I call lifestyle choices that led to that outcome. So I don't think, I would actually argue that we've never, as a human race, been more unhealthy than we are right now. Even though we have everything you mentioned, I think we've never been more unhealthy than we are right now. So it's an issue that we need to address. One final thing, and maybe Jason, you can talk about the Malaysia issue. Let me give you one more global number. We all remember COVID, yes? It was like the turning point of our life because it was the last thing we probably remembered. We were locked down, right? EMCO, MCO, we locked down, we had MySejahtera, we had all these things. We made all these choices. We wore masks. We did all of these, we got injections. We limited and we did social spacing. 3 in an elevator, 4 in an elevator. We did everything possible. In all that time, total of 7 million people died. Horrendous number. 7 million people died total. In any 1 year, 43 million people died because of the things I mentioned. 6 times more people died in 1 year from a lifestyle-related death than all the people who died in the total number of years of COVID. Yet we did so many things to stop COVID, but it feels like we don't do enough to stop something that is changeable, truly changeable. I don't know the number in Malaysia, so maybe Jason can share the specifics.
All right, thanks for giving a very good snapshot on the health status of humanity. On Malaysia, I want to share you some statistics. This is contributed by all of us, Malaysians, all are Malaysians, right? So we are part of the statistic. No, Malaysia now, we are facing not one but 2 health crises. One happened very fast, another one was unveiling in silence. The first one happened very fast is the NCD, the non-communicable diseases that Mike mentioned about, as a result of the poor choices that we make in our daily life. And do you know that in Malaysia, 1 out of 2 Malaysian adults is either overweight or obese? So compared to all our neighboring countries, we are officially the fattest country of the region. We are the fattest country in the whole Southeast Asia. So my friends, recently, we went to Bangkok for holiday, and then he complained, saying it's struggle to buy clothes in Bangkok because of our average size. When we go to Bangkok, we can never find our the waistline, the clothes that we have to buy. But overweight and obese is more than just an appearance issue. 1 in 3 Malaysian adults having high cholesterol issue, 1 in 3 Malaysian adults having high blood pressure, and 1 out of 6 Malaysians is having high blood sugar issue. And the worst part is that most of us are not aware that we are having this issue. We are so happily eating the food and we happily indulge ourselves in food heaven. I mean, this is the price we pay as living in a food heaven. Like Mike said, we are 24/7. You can order anything just on your fingertips. Now, we also spoke about aging just now. What's wrong with aging, you might be asking? Isn't that a good sign that when people live longer, well, we live longer than ever? What's wrong with living long? What's wrong with aging? Nothing wrong with aging. But everything goes wrong when we age without good health. When ailing and aging comes together, everything goes wrong. So what happened in Malaysia? You can see here clearly, Malaysia, we are living longer than ever. Our average lifespan, or the number of years we live, is close to now reaching close to 76 years. But the challenge is that our health span, or the number of years you remain healthy, good health, is only 67 years. So there is this gap of 9 years where we live, but we are living without good health. So our health span is 9 years shorter than our lifespan. So averagely, Malaysia will spend the last decade of our life with a very poor life, poor health condition, compromise in terms of the quality of life that you want to live. So when Malaysians say, I have my elderly folks, my family members, friends, and relatives who say, I do not wish to live for too long. You may hear this from your family members as well. And so when you live long, I just spend more time on bed or wheelchair instead of spending my time living. But the problem is not with living long. The problem is living long without good health. When we live, we should enjoy life. So our mission here is really not just to add more years into life, but to add more life into years. So we are tackling these two health issues that in Malaysia. So everything we do, including the conversation we're having today, is to try to help Malaysians, to equip Malaysians with more awareness, and empower Malaysians to take charge of how you're going to live your life, how to make healthier, wiser choices in your lifestyle, and how to age healthy, wiser.
Can I just add one more thing? You know, when we mention our lifestyle things, they didn't happen overnight. They happened over a series of days, months, years. It led to this. The good news is, we don't want you to kind of go, oh my gosh, we're doomed, right? The good news is because they're lifestyle-related choices, that means you can change it. It's not a genetic thing. It's not a DNA thing. We're talking about lifestyle choices. So everything you do, and so part of the reason why we need your help and why we invited the media here is not just to talk about doom and gloom, is to talk about what can we do. And so there's simple things that can be done. And so I just want to, before we get into the science, because I know we're here to talk about science of aging and everything else, but there are simple lifestyle choices. So in front of you, for example, you have this drink. You kind of go, okay, it's a drink to help us just to kind of have something to makan. Actually, it's not. Because it's an example of a lifestyle choice. So in your drink, there is a scoop of protein. Why is there a scoop of all plant protein? Well, before you eat, if you have 2 scoops of all plant protein before you eat a meal, you can actually blunt your sugar spike by 70 to 80%. So having a simple drink like this, you kind of go, okay, you just gave no. We want you to understand that a simple choice, because not only does this have protein, which can blunt your sugar spike, it also has fruit and the fiber. So when you drink it, you kind of go, it doesn't taste like fruit juice, because it's not. It has the actual pulp, right, of fruit. So whether it's a carrot, the fiber of a carrot, or other products. So the fiber is a prebiotic to help feed your probiotic. So in a simple decision like that, you blunted your sugar spike, making a choice when you eat. So for example, when you eat, you can start with vegetables, and then you can eat protein, and then you can eat your carbs, nasi. Each one of those steps can blunt your sugar spike from 40 to 70%. And then if you walk afterwards, you can also reduce your sugar spike by 70 to 80%. 3 simple changes have drastically changed the way your body absorbs sugar. I haven't changed the meal. I haven't said, okay, you need to replace your meal from nasi lemak to just steamed vegetable. I just asked that you have protein in front, asked that you change and eat maybe the telur or the egg first, and then you eat your protein, your chicken, and then you have the nasi with the sambal. See, and then walk. That change alone, without changing the Malaysian diet, has drastically changed sugar spike, which will drastically change health. And when you add that with the supplements and other choices, it will drastically change overall health. Yeah? And that's what we want to make sure people understand, that it's not about changing who we are as Malaysians, but it's changing the way we approach things with the right awareness to actually overcome our health issues.
Thank you very much, Mike and Jason, for placing a bit of amazing reality check for everyone here today. But most importantly, what you have on the table here today, ladies and gentlemen, how does it taste? Firstly, just want to ask you, have you tasted it before? Haven't tasted it, you just came, right? So have you guys tasted it? Amazing. So I hope the next question will not be when are we going to have our very own juice bars open in the malls and all that. So I hope that we can, of course, just a reality check for everyone. Of course, the importance of health. And there is also another word that maybe if you went for the tour, you might have read this word or heard this word, which is wellness, and some of you might have heard well-being. But most of you might know already that Amway for 50 years have been doing great on both wellness and well-being. But it's just that we have a slight change here. We normally would say we want wellness, but now we're calling it well-being. So I'm just going to head on now to Jason once again. What's the change here in Malaysia, focusing on well-being?
I don't think it's a change in terms of the direction that we run our business. Like you say, we've been focusing on health and well-being for ages. Since our founders started our business in 1959, we've been focusing on helping people around the world to live healthy and live better. So when we focus more on well-being, we just want to be more intentional. We just want to have more clarity in who we are, in the core of our business. So focus on helping people live better lives, more than just physical health. I think we spoke a lot about physical health just now, but we talk about overall health and well-being. In fact, it covers more than just addressing the cholesterol, hypertension, the diabetes, or the overweight, obesity. It's about holistically, you feel you are better, you feel well, you feel vitalized, you feel energetic, more than just your physical health. Also about your mental, you feel balanced, you feel engaged, you feel purposeful. Also the way we live, how do we live in harmony with the environment? We feel supported with our loved ones, with our community. I mean, this is the overall holistic health and well-being that we in Amway trying to build, trying to support. And for ages, we've been focusing in doing that. We started with vital nutrients. As I gave the tour just now, you heard from my colleague, Tivin, who gave a very good explanation on our focus on phytonutrients. So we're focusing on doing that. Phytonutrients refer to the bioactive compounds we found in fruits, in vegetables. Mike mentioned about 3 out of 4 globally, adults we fail to meet our daily requirement recommended by WHO when it comes to the servings of our fruits and vegetables. So phytonutrients help to bridge that daily gap, to ensure that we have all these ingredients to ensure our body run optimally. And as our understanding to human health deepening, so we extended our focus into microbiome. Again, Tegan brought you to that track, that gut track that we talked about just now, to ensure that we know that healthier person, healthier you started with healthier gut. And we understand better that the gut has a significant role to play, not only in digestive, but also in terms of immunity, in our metabolic health, and our overall mental health being. We talk about the gut and brain axis. So we focus a lot in the past few years in gut health to help Malaysia address NCD, because we found there's a close correlation between NCD and gut health. So when you have healthier gut, it helps to address all those issues that we're facing. And now, as we're speaking now, we further extend out to a new horizon in cellular health, where I believe that.
Dr. Shah, can we explain on that?
Thank you very much for the question. Good afternoon, everyone. I just came from my dad's 97th birthday. 97th birthday. Still cheerful, healthy, and he's a walking laboratory for me as a scientist. He's an accounting guy, so he does not know much science, but he practices science more than anybody I can think of. Right? So for me, when we talk about cellular health, I reflect on him and the previous study experience, of course, and assess what does it really mean. Because we talk about phytonutrients, and Amway has been really invested in phytonutrients for a long time. We have been really driving the gut microbiome, as Mike and Jason was alluding to, right? We do that quite a bit. But then we have not really pivoted, but we went really deep in understanding what drives aging. What are the hallmarks of aging? What are the signs and symptoms of aging? And it all begins with the cell. The cell, each cell of our body starts getting affected as we age. Not as we age, but because of the choices we make. As Jason alluded to, the food choices we make, the diet, the social habits we make, all those things affect our cells. And then we understood there are many components within the cells which has to be fine-tuned and modified. Of course, the foundation always remains, right? Foundation like the omega, vitamins, and everything remains. But above and beyond them, what will support the cellular health? And that is where we have, because the cell does so many functions. When we are sleeping, the cells are sleeping? No, cells are really alive. They are detoxifying our body. They're creating new energy. They're creating new molecules in our body. They are not sleeping like we do, right? So therefore, that's what we realize. It's very important to focus on the cellular health and study, are there phytonutrients which can really support the cell vitality, the cellular revitalizing processes, and that's where we start focusing on cellular health.
All right, so beautiful. And we're talking about cellular health here, ladies and gentlemen. Just to dive slightly deeper inside here. Okay, of course, we know M-Cell. Okay, if you pass by, if you want to know more about M-Cell, we're going to talk more about that after this. But when we talk about M-Cell here today, ladies and gentlemen, some of us might want to ask, if we're talking about cellular health, if you consume, as such, how does it take? Do I start now? Do I start later? Or when I'm getting older, like maybe when I'm probably 60? Or how, doctor? And when I consume it, how does it take effect on my body? How quickly will I be able to, realize some changes? Maybe we're going to share on that.
So I would say, we age from the day we are born. Right? That's why we are called 1 year old, because we are already aged. Right? As we grow older and older, our cells start accumulating damages. Because when we are young, we seems like invincible. But that invincibility also comes at a cost. The cost which accumulates over a period of time. Right? For example, one simple cellular effect is autophagy. The very fact that the cells cleanse themselves, our body cleanses themselves, right? And that starts with the day one of our birth, right? So the cellular aging cleansing process starts so early in life. So what does it mean? It means as early as possible we want to take care of our health. There's no time limit for that, right? Of course, as I said, we feel all healthy when we're 20s and starts feeling the effect in the 30s, right? So that is where we want to start thinking about, hey, we need to be proactive. Let's hold the reins before the horse is going out of control, right? So that is where we start thinking about our health.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, this will be the final question.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting since you're the director of RIP. of course, trust starts from R&D, right? We want to know how good the product is and all that, of course, starts from R&D. So, seems like we can put it to good terms or good words that Amway has its own R&D facilities, and also it says here that we also carry out our own R&D. So, is this true? Yes or no? And how can we go into deeper to explain to the media?
Sure. So, as a scientist, you can ask any scientist anywhere in the world, right? For them, the ethics of the company matters a lot when you work for a company. Because the company's direction is always, the scientist looks at the company's direction, because scientists are independent thinkers. They're always independent thinkers. So for them, they assess, is this company really invested in research, or are they just talking? Right, I can tell you, for me, I've been here 11 years now, more than 11 years. So the company invests in research. Company invests in people to do advanced sciences, which I don't believe any company is doing today. I don't want to compare it, but I can tell you the kind of investment we make in science and people, the scientists, are huge and tremendous. Right? So, and I just want to give an anecdote of the painful process we go through to develop a product. So, yeah, so there was a case that happened a few months ago. A product we developed after 6 months of research and doing some studies, we found the product was fading slightly, right? So our scientists said, we are not going ahead. But the others said, no, it's okay. A slight fade in the product. But scientists said, no, go for us. Because we want to understand why it's fading. Of course, we found the root cause of the issue. But that is how the scientists have the power to stop a product from going out to the market. Because we believe we have delivered the best quality to our consumers. Because why? Because tomorrow, or even today, my kids or my parents are going to take the same supplement. So why would I compromise on any supplement when it goes out to the market to our consumers?
We are celebrating our 50th anniversary in 2026. Shafiq, you mentioned it at the beginning. So when we celebrate our 50th anniversary, what we plan to do is more than just to look back on what we accomplished in the past 50 years. We want to set ahead, we want to look ahead, go beyond, look ahead. What else can we do? What more can we do for Malaysia, for the country, for the next 50 years? So we have a series of initiatives, programs, workshops. They're going to tour the whole country. In Malaysia, we are operating 23 shops. We have close to 400 employees, and we are partnering hundreds of thousands of our ABOs, Amway business owners, just like all the beautiful souls that you're seeing here today. Those are doing their beautiful, fun TikTok. They are business partners, but they are focused more than just selling products, sharing products. Their job to us, all of us, we partner together as health ambassadors. So the rallies that we're going to do nationwide to celebrate our AM50 is not only to celebrate Amway Malaysia's achievement, but to celebrate Malaysia's milestone, the progress that we're going to make together to become a healthier nation. We see all the 23 shops that we're running is more than just a place for transaction, but those are places for education, for awareness, for sharing, for transformation. For also, we know that for any change to be sustainable, there's a change in our mindset, understanding of how do we handle, how do we address health and well-being. So we continue committed working with our ABOs to reach out to more Malaysians, hopefully to every home in Malaysia, to help, to support, to enrich, to empower Malaysians to live healthier, live better, together with Amway.
Good afternoon. I have a question for Dr. Sham. First, congratulations for your dad for celebrating his 97-year birthday. Dr. Sham, can you share what is your dad's lifestyle, what he eats, what he doesn't eat, and to be able to reach to 97?
Great question. So I was telling my team this a few hours ago. He has been with me at Nutralite for many years, right? So he has been with me at Nutralite so he has his usual supplements and everything. But one thing I realized about him, he's a walking experiment for me as a scientist, right? I look upon him and observe his behavior. So I was there 2 days ago, right, celebrating his 97, and I observed him again. He goes to sleep early, wakes up at 5 a.m. in the morning. He walks to his temple and prays loud, leads the prayer, right, with his lungs so loud at the age of 97. So I went with him to the temple, right, to listen to him speak so loud and think, oh my God, his lung power is magical, right? Then he walks back. No cars, nothing, right? He walks back to his home and probably 10 minutes from there, right? Without any help, no sticks, nothing, right? He doesn't hold any stick, nothing. And then he communicates with his community, right? Talking about the farm he has some issues here, that issues, and then throughout the day he's engaged. Then his food is, of course, he has our protein supplement with Horlicks, one of the products there to mix it up, everything. And then he has his omegas. So he covers the basics. But beyond the basics, his lunch is very basic, right? He has rice, and then he has veggies, right? Veggies, some veggies for sure. 3-4 veggies surrounded his plate, right? Like raw bananas, right? So one thing I observed, he's a big fan of fiber. He does not know that, but I see that he's a big fan of fiber. Right? He's a big, but not a big fan of protein, other than eggs and some fish occasionally. So that's what he does, So very basic lifestyle, but a good engagement with the community, good sleeping behavior, good walking behavior. These are things which really makes a holistic approach towards his life, right?
And we can put into words as well. We actually do know of individuals, not going to name anyone here, individuals who are probably not as far as your dad. They're probably 80 years old, but they can't move, they're bedridden, and they have a poor lifestyle, maybe poor choices in the past. And those things are back to basics, we're back to choices, right? And certainly your father has made amazing choices to be able to reach an astonishing, beautiful year of 97 here today. We can congratulate you again, Doctor, for that, and may we reach the upper hundreds, that's the best ones.
Right, and for me, the one thing also I realized that is his habits, his behavior, maybe a little bit of the genetics, right? But to me, I cannot guarantee that I will live till 100. So I cannot assume anything, right? Because my lifestyle has been different. So for me, I can copy some of the things for sure, but I cannot guarantee. So I have to be very cognizant of the fact that I may not be as lucky as him, but I can at least emulate him. I can observe the good behaviors and start following the good behaviors rather than anything else. Right?
Perfect words. Okay, thank you so much. Does that answer your question? Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next question of the day here today. So take your time, no worries. Thank you very much. Please fire away.
So another question to Dr. Shan. Regarding about superfoods like blueberries, raspberries, walnuts, are they really necessary for to make a person to live longer? Considering that in some people in Fiji Islands, Okinawa, they don't have access to such superfoods. So what they eat are just normal tropical food. Yet they can still survive beyond 100. So the question is, are superfoods really necessary? Thank you.
Great question, great thoughtful question, I must say. And I also reflected on that. When people call something as superfood, is it really superfood? Of course, when we talk about blueberries, there are some studies on blueberries showing that it has some amazing impact on brain health and everything, right? So there are evidences, but that doesn't mean the local foods are not superfoods. We have in our possession, I look at Malaysia, and I moved to Malaysia from US, from California in September. I was amazed at the variety of veggies here. So for me, I don't go about hunting the superfoods. I go about adapting and adopting the local veggies and the local fruits. And for me, those are the superfoods built in the society. Right? I don't have to go about looking out anywhere else. I completely align with your thought. Thank you.
Thank you very much. There are questions? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Zahira from NH Online. I would like to direct my question to Jason. What is the expected consumer adoption of cellular health products in the Malaysian market?
Expected adoption.
Adoption of cellular products.
Well, we hope that every Malaysian will adopt, definitely, because every Malaysian needs cellular health. But since we launched our cellular health solution, MCell, on 1st of September, in fact, we had an earlier launch to a certain group of our APOs in July. It was very well received. We have an overwhelming response. So when we officially launched to open to all our members, APOs, on 1st September, it was overwhelming. We have online sales and offline sales. Online sales, remind me if I'm wrong, Joanne is our CMO. We sold out our online allocation in hours. In less than half day,
15 minutes.
in 15 minutes. I try to be more humble. But we sold out online in 15 minutes, in less than 20 minutes. And offline in all our shops, we've seen long queues. Similar like the long queues you saw people queuing up for iPhone 17 Pro. If not longer. 70. So it's sold out. So it's overwhelming. So now our team is working around the clock to ensure that we can expedite production, step up adding more production line, and so that we can get more products, get more supply to meet the huge demand that we saw among our customers and APOs. So if I can see, if those are good indicators, it shows that there's huge demand among Malaysians, because when our APOs share the product, they share with their families, their loved ones, their friends, their colleagues. It shows that there's huge demand for Malaysia, and Malaysians understand the importance of taking care of your cellular health. As I said, AIM 50, our purpose, and our focus, our initiative, our priorities is to put the country, to educate, to share to more Malaysians the importance of really take charge of your cellular health.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we can ask Dr. Sham. Dr. Sham, with the AMCell, how is it developed and why is it special compared to sort of any generic cellular vitality sort of supplement you can find? What makes AMCell different?
True. Great question, Mike. So, AMCell, the development took 6 years. The development of AMCell took 6 years. So for us, that is the longest life cycle of a to develop product. Typically, 2 years, 2.5 years is what we take. But this took 6 years because it was a complex thinking beyond it, on it, right? So for us, looking at 600 different plants, 50,000 phytomolecules, phytonutrients, and assessing how they all work together to tackle the 12 hallmarks of aging. Right? So what is well known is the 12 hallmarks of aging is scientifically accepted. But beyond that, the scientists have not addressed how do we go about tackling them. So that's what Amway took the opportunity to assess. Hey, what are the molecules which can tackle the 12 hallmarks of aging? So therefore, it took us the 6 years to narrow down and to find the right combination. So that right combination, right sensory, so that we can deliver the product to the market, to consumers. So it's a lot of thinking went behind it, and we have developed the AI system to really understand and probe the AI system so that we can get the right combination.
And Dr. Sham, we spent 6 years screening more than 600 plants, and we studied more than 5,000 ingredients, 15,000 ingredients to ensure we find the right balance, the right golden formula, the unique
The
formula.
golden regeneration. Exactly.
So it's not the secret put to just sell a product just to make sure that it has to be quality products, trusted products, and at the same time it works. So do we have any more questions from the media before we can have? Pass it on to the bar.
I want to ask Dr. Sham, this is a simple question. What about those who already have a health problem like diabetic and hypertension? Are they still have a chance to manage a cellular health or no chance for them? Thank you.
Cellular health is important for everyone. Right? For everyone. Of course, for definitely, when there is a condition like diabetes, definitely have the discussion with the physician. But cellular health is foundational health necessary for everyone. Absolutely. Good question.
All right, so after this, we're just going to have a session whereby we can meet up with. Sorry, do you have one more?
Oh yeah.
Fine. Okay, so okay, let's do this last question. Oh, at the back. Oh, yeah, we're going to have the back. This will be the last question because we're going to allow you to be able to have a much more approachable interview with, of course, our panelists here today. But we're going to just have that one last question on the back.
Hi, my name is Henry from KaiMarket.com. My question is for the 50 years anniversary and also in connection for this cellular health and healthy aging. What are the first thing or campaign that you guys are going to conduct for the public to be exposed with this campaign?
Jason, that definitely is your question.
Well, we've been doing that not only to celebrate our 50th anniversary. In fact, we've been doing that every week, every month, every quarter, every year. That's the priority of our business. Yes, to your point, so what's so special about AM50, right? So we're going to step up this, we're going to double up the effort. So we plan to do nationwide rallies. We're going to travel to all the major cities in Malaysia to conduct big rallies, to share about all the findings that Dr. Sham shared. I mean, these are best kept secret. We do not want it to be end up like best kept secret. We want all Malaysians to be empowered with all these findings, to make wiser choices, healthier choices in their life, to take charge of how they live and how they age. So yes, we're going to travel the country, the different region, to hold rallies to educate, to share. And internally, we also planning to do some campaign to help Malaysians to address NCBs, all these things that we continue doing. We're going to share more detail when we're more finalized, when we launch it to our APS team.
Thank you very much. So just to close things off, Mike, the final closing for you, for all of our media, before they leave, anything you'd like to say to them regarding, of course, healthy aging and so on?
Yeah, I guess I would just like to ask for your help, right? I think as a country, we know the issue. I'm sure you've seen the statistics. I'm sure everybody's aware of it. I don't think we can do enough to raise awareness. At the end of the day, the more we can raise awareness, hopefully then through the government, through other companies, we can raise awareness and maybe have a call to action. And maybe to your question earlier, what's the campaign or call to action? We hope that you can help us raise the alarm on the national crisis that's happening. Not just here in Malaysia, but globally, but here in Malaysia. And then we can take action. But at the end of the day, you can put up a billboard saying, hey, 50% of Malaysians are overweight. Action won't be taken. It's when you can, and we can all personalize it. When you yourself have also kind of said, okay, actually, I know exactly what the company's talking about. I know exactly what Mike's talking about, what Jason's talking about, what Dr. Sham's talking about, because either it's affecting me or my family. And then make it personal. Make yourself, when you make it personal and you can help write about it and help make it personal to others, then maybe it'll become an action or a call to action. Our ABOs are trying to do that every day. We try to reinforce it with our leaders because no one's going to change. It's only when we kind of, like I said, everybody wants to lose weight. Everybody might lose weight for one day, 1 week, 1 month, but then they go back. But if you can kind of make simple choices, lifestyle changes, you can make it sustainable. Right? We've all made it a lifestyle choice to change. I mean, honestly, every one of us here, you can look at our picture 5 years, 10 years ago, we were probably about 20 kgs heavier. Right? It's a lifestyle choice that we personally embrace, not because we have to, because the company isn't, paying us to stay healthy. It's just something that we've embraced. So hopefully we can help others do it, because it's only through personal referral, through personal engagements that somebody actually decides to change their life. One final statistics which I love is we've had thousands of people who've gone and done their health assessment through a third-party laboratory that we partner with. And not only did they lose weight, because weight was the first thing, but actually we can show, and they have the data, that 70 to 80% of the people who went and had issues with cholesterol, blood pressure, or sugar, actually 70 to 80% were able to lower. Those that were unhealthy, about 40 to 50% actually brought it back to the healthy part. So we know it's doable. It's doable through all the things we talked about. We just need to help Malaysians to do it. It's like that Nike commercial, just do it.
Just do it.
Hopefully, Malaysians, we can just do it.